Okay, good morning to everyone. This is Respect Life Sunday, and October is Respect Life Month. So for the homily, I want to connect this theme of Respect Life with the readings we heard. More specifically, I want to show the importance of faith in promoting a pro-life culture. And why? Why faith? Because in the first reading from the book of the prophet Habakkuk, he says, "The just one, because of his faith, shall live." And then the gospel reading we just heard begins with the apostles asking Jesus, "Increase our faith." So that faith that the apostles are seeking, that's the foundation of the Respect Life movement. So let's begin with Habakkuk. Okay, when I first looked at that reading, sadly, I noticed the similarity between Habakkuk's time and our own. Habakkuk, he was writing 600 years before Christ. It was a very dark chapter in the history of Israel. Foreign invaders were coming to conquer Judah. The tribes of Israel had been decimated. And that's why Habakkuk, he prays, "How long, O Lord? I cry for help, but you do not listen. I cry to you violence, but you do not intervene. Destruction and violence are before me." So I thought of the parallels between Habakkuk's time and our time because of that very word, violence. And we see the tragedies in the news, so much violence in our nation and abroad. Just last Sunday, we're still praying for them. The shocking, heartbreaking violence in the Mormon church there. And as I saw that story in the news, it was so confounding. It was indeed senseless. I saw what took place in that church. I thought, what is the point? Who benefits at all? We could say, all of us, that these irrational episodes of violence are expressions of incoherence in a person's heart. They reveal an interior meaninglessness. To commit violence like that, a person has to be so utterly adrift, mentally and spiritually. So returning to this first reading from Habakkuk, what did he do to address the violence of his day? Well, like all the prophets of the Old Testament, he calls people back to their faith in God, their relationship with God. That's their anchor in the midst of incredible tragedy, because with faith comes resilience and courage. Yes, even hope. With the gift of faith, listen to me now. With the gift of faith, Habakkuk situated the people of God in a narrative, in a story that, yes, passes through darkness, but ultimately ends in the fullness of life with God. So right now, let's apply that same wisdom of Habakkuk to our own lives, our own situation, our own day and age. For us Christians, our faith in Christ makes all the difference in the world, especially in the face of evil, because our faith gives us identity and mission. Thanks to our faith, we have a structure for morality and a structure to receive forgiveness. We practice our faith in community. That means we know what it means to serve and to sacrifice for others. And as people of faith, we remember our dignity and the dignity that has bestowed upon all of us from conception to natural death. Maybe a spiritual exercise, very, very short, would be helpful at this point. I'm going to say aloud simple statements of faith that are very basic to our religion. I'm going to speak them out loud and let them sink in. As I speak them, notice what sort of narrative what sort of landscape forms in your mind? God is with us. With God, all things are possible. God's mercy endures forever. God is love. God created us in his image and likeness. When you have these truths rooted in your heart, when they are cemented there, after a lifetime of faith and prayer, we discover a supernatural peace. And yes, we have hope even in darkness. And I share that exercise, that spiritual exercise with you because those statements of faith taken together form the beautiful rationale for a thoroughly pro-life mentality. During Respect Life Month, yes, we are called to issues that threaten human life in society, like abortion and euthanasia and the death penalty and human trafficking and senseless violence. And in one way or another, all of that flows from a spiritual amnesia. When society cuts short a life, it's because we forget the dignity of the human person. But faith has a way of reminding us that God has a plan for every single human being until he calls that person home. Coming close to the end of this homily, really we're praying this Sunday, Respect Life Sunday. We're praying on behalf of the whole human race, just like the apostles. Increase our faith. And then we connect that faith to Habakkuk, who says, the just one, because of his faith, shall live. Our Catholic faith, it anchors us. And it points to the truth that life is worth living. God, who authored our life, calls us to live our life to the full and to help others do so. So in this Mass, that's my invitation to you. Renew your faith in Jesus, our God, who overcame violence on the third day. He triumphed over death to save us from sin and from hopelessness and from meaninglessness. Every month is Respect Life Month for us Christians because we believe in a living God who gives us purpose in every season of life.